Robert, you requested to fill the form, the 360 degrees form. Is it required now before the meeting? I'm trying to fill it up, but still
no, not required. Later on, maybe just it's part of my project, so I send it.
I will do it. Okay, I'm already started, but I didn't get enough time to do everything because I think it's six pages. It's quite big. I thought I'll give you a detailed feedback. Actually, that is a good form, right? 360 days, 360 degree evaluation form. If we get a right feedback from everyone, we get to know a lot of things.
Yes.
Even nowadays, even the company is also doing all these things. 360 evaluation. Manmohan is joining, Murugesh. We have Jyoti supposed to join. Do we have others join? Can you cross check it?
Swaminathan joined, right? Jyoti?
Yeah, Swami is joining, yes.
Okay. Sahana will be joining 5 minutes later.
Yes, okay.
And yeah, Toastmaster, the Manmohan is awaiting.
Yes, he's going to join in a few.
So you will be the first speaker, Robert, and
give me the make me second speaker, okay?
Okay, so Robert will be
first speaker, yeah. Okay. Jyoti, we are waiting.
Okay, and Roshan is there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. So who table topic is Rupesh is also there. Great.
Good afternoon, Manmohan.
Good afternoon.
Thanks for joining from India.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Satish. I was totally tied up, and I remembered that I promised you I'll come, and you wanted me to do an icebreaker. I said somehow it's going to be extra.
It would be okay. Also, we have two speakers are there lined up.
Oh, fine.
If we cannot make it, then also we have a good time. Next time also we can make it. Okay?
No problem.
We thought of we should have a more experienced speaker than you.
Yeah, I could do it, and I certainly can do it. But the only thing is, like I told you yesterday, I'll do it if you don't have any other speaker. If I do a speech, I would like you prepared, and I'm not prepared. I don't want to disappoint people.
Okay, just a minute. I will give a call to Jyoti.
Yeah.
Then we will.
Anyway, you have two evaluators, right? It's okay, right? You want Jyoti to be there, Sahana is to be there, Swaminathan is there.
But we told Jyoti to evaluate Robert, right? Okay. If she don't join, then we will give to somebody else. That's all. Okay, let's start. Murugesh is not picking. Let's see. Okay.
Satish.
Yes.
Toastmaster Manmohan is not giving a speech.
That's what now. Manmohan is.
Then who are the two evaluators?
So Jyoti is supposed to join actually for your speech. Okay. She is not at join.
No, she's joined. She said she's coming late. Who are the two evaluators then?
Okay, then for me, whatever Swami is the evaluator, and for your speech, Jyoti is the evaluator if she comes.
No, put Sana as one of the evaluators because we have asked her, so let us.
Okay, then.
Okay, that's what I was also suggesting.
Is it okay, Sana,
She's just joining as an evaluator, so
Okay,
Let her put as an evaluator, okay?
no problem. If Manmohan is there, since he's there, he can deliver, then we'll see. Depends on the timing.
Then in that case, you take your first speech.
Okay, no problem. I will take my first speech.
Okay.
Archana.
Okay, over to you, Murugesh. Please start.
You have to
Sorry, I
start.
think I have to start, I believe. Okay. I'm a sergeant at all. With multiple roles, I'm getting confused.
And also the president's speech is also there. Then I'll come into picture. Right?
Yes, yeah, of course. True. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. My name is Satish Ratnala. I'm a sergeant at arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all for the meeting number 461. Before starting the meeting, I would like to mention 3 ground rules which we follow in our Toastmasters meeting. Please turn off your mobile phones or put them on silent mode. As Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Please do not cross talk. Now, as our meeting happening online because of this pandemic, so the ground rules can be mentioned as Toastmasters, everybody in our life has a mission to achieve their goals. Likewise, our Toastmaster Club also has a mission. The mission of our Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and a positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn fosters self-confidence and personal growth. With this, I'm also going to take my next role as a president. Am I visible completely?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the NMC Corporate Toastmaster Club. So I was thinking a couple of times, what is the best speech as an opening speech as a president? Today, the most challenging part for most of our employees in any company, when we get a chance to meet a top level management in an organization, because we hardly get chance to meet them, very rare cases. So when we get chance, we all would like to go and talk to them, but due to a lot of reasons, because of shy, we don't know what to talk with them. Sometimes we feel that we both don't have the common interest. So somehow we miss these chances. But if you could see today, the biggest challenge in the present scenario is not having the right network. We are not very sure about our jobs, but with a good network, I'm sure if we have a good network, even if we lose job in one organization with the network, it will help us to go into another organization very easily. The most important, if we have a good network with the top level of the companies, it's more easy because when we know about the CEOs, CFOs, at least when they know us, it's more easy as to interact with them whenever we have in a crucial, challenging times. So today I would like to talk on one specific subject which is called elevator pitch. I'm sure you all might have heard about elevator pitch a couple of times, but we don't know what is elevator pitch. Some of the people don't know how to start the elevator pitch. The first impression we make on people is very crucial. That is why introducing yourself with a strong elevator speech is so important. Maybe one day you will hop an elevator and travel up to 30 floors with the CEO of a company for which you have always wanted to work, or with a key investor you have been pursuing for your new business venture. But whether or not your ride in elevator with a leader in your industry, You undoubtedly will need to introduce yourself at meetings, conferences, social functions, and job interviews. When asked, hey, tell me about yourself, or what do you do? Introduce yourself confidently and effectively to make a strong first impression. If you don't have an elevator speech, a 1 or 2 minute speech about yourself, you are missing an opportunity to grow both professionally and personally. I'm sure you all will connect with this topic. So craft your message as you would a formal speech. Prepare strategically, rehearse thoroughly, ask fellow Toastmasters. This is where Toastmaster helps for all of us. For feedback and rework the material if it is not achieving the results you want. That doesn't mean your elevator speech should be scripted, stiff or unchanging. On the contrary, make sure it is conversational and can be adapted to fit the situation you are in. So keep some mantras, 3 guidelines in your mind, and you will be prepared to introduce yourself to any person you encounter. The first one is describe yourself as a solution, not a problem. Generally, we always say that, yes, I am so and so. This is very used way of introduction. The most important part of your elevator speech is the first sentence is the determine whether your reason, the conversation with your opposite person is such a polite excuse or okay, let me talk to later. So for example, how we can start yourself as a solution rather than just saying about yourself. I'm a Satish, an accountant, for example, in New York. My introduction starts, hey, I take a dread out of April 15th. American taxpayers recognize this familiar date as the annual deadline for the filing a US tax return and immediately have a sense of Satish's work and its the value to his crimes. And the most important is tell an antidote. After you describe how you solve the problem, tell a short story to explain your motivation for doing what you do. Let me give a short example. Naveen, a video journalist, tell a story about how he became interested in journalism. When I started applying for internship, I would change my phrasing, but for the most part, I stuck to a simple anecdote about feeling lost and with no creative outlet when coming to college until joined the school newspaper. That is where I got interested on the journalism. Just remember, your entire elevator speech is just 1 or 2 minutes long. So your anecdote must be very brief. The most important is don't stop with that. Start a dialogue. Finally, conclude with an open-ended question. So one that cannot be answered with a simple yes or no. So the best introductions are a short and end with a questions that turn to interaction into a dialogue. The question can be, so and what you do, or depending on the occasion, you can make it more specific to your field or a work or type of person you are networking with. So above all, the questions must show you genuinely interested on the opposite person rather than just saying hi or no. So, ladies and gentlemen, a memorable elevator speech will help you to market yourself and capitalize on opportunities that comes your way, whether you are in elevator or not. With this introduction, let me invite Toastmaster of the today's session, our young, dynamic, most experienced Toastmasters, Toastmaster Murugesh, to handle today's session. Power to you, Toastmaster Murugesh. I didn't see any guests. Let me see if any guests are there. I think yes. Toastmaster Sahana is guest. Hi Sahana, can you please introduce about yourself?
A very good afternoon, Toastmasters. I'm Sahana. I belong to NITK Toastmasters Club, which is my college club. I have been very well acquainted with the Toastmaster culture in Abu Dhabi. I belong to the Gulf Gavel Club, which was which closely worked with all the Toastmasters in Abu Dhabi. So I grew up watching some of you speak and in action. And today I'm glad to be a part of your meeting so that hopefully I can showcase what I have learned over the years.
That's great, Sahana. Welcome to NMC Corporate Toastmaster Club family. So I'm sure you are going to be tough competitor for evaluation, today's our evaluators. I think since Sahana is there, Jyoti is there, I think can I request Manmohan, is it possible for you to deliver your icebreaker? Because we will going to have 3 speakers, Swami also there.
Oh, Satish, okay, it's going to be extempore. I'm going to be speaking what comes to my mind. I really have not prepared. Okay.
The experienced speaker like you, definitely extempore anytime. So I think now stage is to Murugesh. Over to you. Now we have 3 speakers and 3 evaluators.
Thank you, Satish. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that airplane takes off against the wind and not with it. So be the change that you wish the world to be. Good afternoon, Toastmasters. It was my privilege, my absolute privilege, to serve you as the Toastmaster of the evening. The Eureka movement is the theme of today's session. Eureka movement, which is also known as aha moment, refers to a common human experience of suddenly understanding and identifying a solution for the previously incomprehensible problems or concepts. So I will be discussing more about the Eureka moments, of where this word came up from, how is that we can create Eureka moments on a day-to-day life. In this note, we'll be jumping into the business end of the session. So our first speaker, a leader is the one who leads by example. So already we saw a glimpse of his capabilities in the presidential speech. So may I request upon Toastmaster Satish to give the first speech.
Murugesh, before that you need to introduce all the role players.
I'm sorry, actually I got carried away. So may I request upon the timer, Toastmaster Lizzie, to introduce the timing rules.
Yes. Good afternoon, Toastmasters and Toastmaster of the day. Today, the timer's role, I will be, you can see the timer screen. It is showing blue at present. So for the reason for having a timer is that it makes you follow a schedule that you have to complete your activity within a stipulated time, and time is very important because time waits for no man. So within that stipulated time period, different roles have to be completed within the stipulated time period. So as and when we start with the speeches, I will start telling you the timing rules for each role. Apart from that, I am also going to be the word master for the day. So I will introduce the word of the day. The word of the day is pufferwit. Pufferwit is the word of the day, which is intensively used for expressing strong and intense emotions. It is an adjective. I give you some examples. It can be used as an adverb to pufferwidly, or as a noun, pufferwidness. Examples are, I feel the people of the city are pufferwid. Here was a pufferwid nationalist who was jailed for his beliefs. I have a pufferwid appreciation of those things in other persons. The sky, as usual, is pufferwid. I request all members to make use of this word pufferwid today, and I will take a count and give a report at the end of the meeting. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day. Thank you.
Thanks, Toastmaster Lizzie. Actually, it's very much appreciable. You told us how to use it both as adjective and as adverb, because usually people say how to use it as adjective, but you saying that how it can be used on both ends, it's good. Thank you for it. Thought master for the day, Toastmaster Sailesh. Toastmaster Shailesh?
Yeah, I'm here. What is the procedure? Should I introduce myself? This is my first session, or can I directly go to the topic?
You can directly go to the topic. Yeah.
So, it was a bit difficult. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It was a bit difficult for me to find an inspirational topic for the day, and I narrowed down to the topic optimism versus realism, the success mantras of life. Basically, I have been attending some of the sessions conducted by career advisors and corporate trainers. In those sessions, the most frequently asked question is, what are the success mantras for your life? Most of the people answer it as optimism. But let me ask you one thing very frankly. Only with optimism can you succeed in life. Should we blend that optimism with realism? This is a question relevant both in your professional and personal life. Most of the times what we do is we get carried away with over optimism. We set unrealistic, over optimistic goals, and we'll find it extremely difficult to achieve. This is applicable both in our professional as well as personal life. Instead of getting carried away with over optimism, what we need to do is we need to be very realistic. We need to set realistic major goals, and we need to set realistic minor goals, and we need to try to achieve this realistic minor goals either parallelly or serially, and we need to move ahead to the major goals. And we have to be very realistic whether we have the resources to achieve these goals, we have the competency, and we have the time frames. After achieving each and every minor goals, we need to make a retrospection to the process, and we need to make an introspection to our own skills. So we can, if you want to improve the process, and we need to develop that competency to improve the process. So we need to, after achieving each and every process, we need to seek rooms for improvement. This is how we need to proceed both in our professional life as well as in personal life. Otherwise, we'll get carried away and we'll become failures. I have seen a lot of people with a lot of people becoming ambitious, a lot of becoming with unrealistic dreams, and they reach nowhere. So optimism has to be clubbed with realism. We need to embed realism also in optimism. We need to be realistic, optimistic realistically. And this realistic optimism will sow seeds for positive attitude, and positive attitude determines your heights. That's it.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Thank you, Toastmaster Shailesh. It was very much an optimistic thought, and it has been expressed in a realistic way.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, in this note, I have given an introduction already about Toastmaster Satish. May I request upon Toastmaster Satish to give the first speaker for the day.
Before that, you need to invite evaluator to read the evaluator objectives. So
Toastmaster Swaminathan will be reading out the objectives of Toastmaster Satish's speech. May I request upon... Yeah, good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters.
Today's Toastmaster Satish's speech is basically on level 3 under dynamic leadership. And the project which he is going to do today will be a circle on visual aids. How familiar the presenter going to use visual aids connected with the project. So over to Satish, please go ahead, and we are waiting for your special skills on using the visual aids.
Thank you, Toastmaster Swami. Over to you, Satish.
I think timer also has to say timing rules.
Sorry, Toastmaster Lizzie.
Murgesh, just to remind you, you have to call the general evaluator.
Actually,
Before
sorry,
I give the timing rules,
this subject.
sorry.
May I request upon I apologize for all this. May I request upon Toastmaster Roshan, a general evaluator, to introduce the team. Sorry.
Thank you, TM Murugesh. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, as General Evaluator, I'll be observing the proceedings, and end of the meeting, I'll give my observations. And if there are some recommendations, I would let you know. Over to you, TM Murugesh.
Toastmaster Lizzie.
Yeah. Toastmasters, the day and so for the speeches, prepared speeches, today we are having prepared speeches that will be of 5 to 7 minutes. So at 5 minutes, you will see the green on screen. At 6 minutes, you will see the amber on screen. And at 7 minutes, you will see the red. After which the speaker gets 30 seconds to complete his speech. And no signal will be given after the 30 minutes grace period. Over to you, Toastmaster Murgesh.
Yes, at last. Toastmaster Satish, please.
Actually, before I start my speech, during my presidential speech, I pronounced one word wrong. I pronounced it as antidote. It is anecdote. Anecdote. So please correct my. So tell an anecdote, not antidote. Thank you, team, for correcting me. So let me share my screen because my project is more on the visual aids. Let me know once you are seeing my screen. Everybody are able to see my screen? Murugesh?
Yes,
Thank you.
Yeah, I've been able to see.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today I would like to tell about one book, which is most important book and which has been referred by most of the senior people and most of the experienced speakers and most of the great leaders. How to win influence and influence people, written by Dale Carnegie. The most challenging today's world is we start talking about ourselves more rather than asking from the opposite person. So I was thinking, I just went through the book and understood that so many points. Of course, sometimes we feel these are very small points, but which are really important to improve our skills, to improve our leadership skills, relationship, and any other skills in our career, professional, personal life, even with the family. These skills really important will matters a lot. So, of course, most of us know about this book. This book sold more than 1 million copies. So, before I go detail, I have identified some specific techniques highlighted by Dale Carnegie in that book. So he highlighted about 3 fundamental techniques in handling people. Don't criticize, complain, give a honest and sincere appreciation, arouse in others' eager interest. When somebody says some thought, try to encourage them rather than just trying to pour water on their thoughts. I don't want to go in these techniques more detailed because I took a specific category in these models, which is leadership. So I just would like to talk on the leadership category. So otherwise, these they have more. He has more than 20 to 25 principles are there. He divided into the first one is fundamental to technique to handling the people, and second one is 6 ways to make people like you, which is become genuinely interested in others. Always show smile, like how I show in my. Remember people with the names. Try to listen attentively when opposite people speaking. Talk in terms of their interest. make others feel important. Team, believe me, today these topics are becoming so important. On every topic, today they have hours of sessions are happening in the corporate world. Even reasoning is having a very great skill. So there is hours of skill, sessions are happening. Means, so every session, every topic you can take as a to deliver a speech also. Now, third one is third ways to win people to your way of thinking, like avoid arguments, respect other opinions, admit to your mistakes quickly, begin with a friendly way, get to yes as soon as possible, let others talk more, let others own the ideas, see from others' point of view, be sympathetic, appear to noble motives, dramatize your ideas. I'm sure Toastmaster comes in the picture, throw a challenge. So these are the third ways of win people to your way of thinking. So now I would like to talk today more detail about be a leader, how to change peoples without giving offense or arousing resentment. Let me go into detail. Always begin with praise and honest appreciation. Praising someone sincerely build their confidence and set a positive foundation for them to receive feedback on a potential areas of improvement. It is like a dentist administrating local anesthetics before drilling to dull the pain. The number two is call attention to people's mistakes indirectly. Rather than criticize someone directly, call indirectly to his attention that behavior that you wish him to change. This helps people, especially sensitive ones, to realize their mistakes with resentment. If you praise someone before, and the most important, talk about your own mistakes first. When you talk about your mistakes before criticizing others, you bring yourself to their levels and make yourself more relatable. Regardless of whether you have already corrected your mistakes, it makes it easier that other person to hear his faults if you start with your mistakes. Then ask questions instead of giving direct orders. No one likes to take direct orders, even a subordinate. Asking questions help people to feel that they are part of the decision-making process, improve buy-in, and can stimulate creativity. Next one is let the other person save face. Rather than threatening, berating, or directly finding fault, make an effort to protect the other person's dignity with the kind and understanding words. Assure them of their value and give them the confidence to do a better next time. Then prize every improvement and prize the slightest improvement. Praise works better than criticism because people would do almost anything to get appreciation and recognition. When we help people to realize the true potential they possess, they will be inspired to transform for the better and give the other persons a fine reputation to live up to. When we respect people for their ability, they are more ready to be led. To improve someone, act as if he or she already outstanding in that particular desired trait or virtue. Give someone big reputation to live up to inspire change in his attitude behavior. Encourage, make the fault seems easy to correct. Number 8, to help people to get over the obstacles of change, we should let them to know we have faith in their abilities and their change of success. Praise their good points, minimize their faults, and be generous with our encouragement so they will practice the necessary skills and excel. And the last but not least, help them to say benefits. To make someone glad to do your suggestion, be sincere and focus on the benefits to the other person. Know exactly what you want to do other person to do. So my dear Toastmasters and raiders and going to be raiders. So these techniques are evergreen from last centuries and they are always keeps us top of the ladder. Forward to you, Toastmaster of the day. Murugesh, you are on mute.
Thanks, Satish, for this inspiring speech. A hallmark of this book, How to Influence and Read People, is if you read it 100 times also, you'll be prompted to read it once more. And every message passed there has been tagged with the storyline, and it has been very easy for us to grasp it. In this note, our second speaker, he's the pioneer of Toastmasters, and he's so instrumental behind the success of NMC Toastmaster. He's a mentor to a lot of people. May I request upon Toastmaster Robert for being a second speaker. Before that, I request Toastmaster Jyoti to read the objectives of Toastmaster Robert.
Thanks,
Toastmaster
Toastmaster. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmaster. I hope you all can hear me clearly. The purpose of this speech for Toastmaster Robert is to apply the skills needed to successfully lead in a volunteer organization, as well as for the member to share some aspect of his experience serving as a leader in volunteer program. Good luck, Mr. Robert. Over to you.
Am I audible?
Yes.
Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmasters and guests, a very good afternoon to all of you. The voluntary organization always loved doing volunteering. Before coming to the Gulf, I was part of a group wherein we would visit the municipal hospitals in Mumbai and the orphanages and do some service there. We'll meet the patients, ask them about their health. Sometimes they will ask us to write letters, feed them medicines, and run errands for them. In the orphanages, it was a totally different style. We would play with the children, make fun with them, entertain them, and that's all. It was only something to give back to them. After coming to Gulf, we didn't have all these things here, but I was in my heart to do something different. And then I formed this Toastmasters. It also been a volunteer organization, yes. The principles and the aims and objectives were totally different. Here in Toastmasters, it was to empower yourself, improve your public speaking, and become good leaders. When I joined Toastmasters, it was in the year 2005. Until date, I've taken up different roles, right from Sergeant at Arms, VPPR Public Relation. Then I've been the president of the NMC Corporate Club twice, area director. And all these different roles I've taken up gave me different lessons because it was always a different team that we were working with. And all the challenges always different. I will set before you some of the few challenges that are faced. And the first and foremost, we all know, the challenge which I had most was traveling from Ruwais to Abu Dhabi. I have to get up 6 o'clock in the morning, like not 5 o'clock in the morning, because the bus I will take was at 7 o'clock in the morning. And I will reach there by 11 o'clock. and the return bus was at 5:30, and that will bring me back at 9 p.m. home. So it was a full day's work just to attend a 2 hours meeting that I'll have to spend. And many a times, when as a president, the task, it will always happen. But halfway when I was in the bus, I will get calls, then dropouts, which you all face in during the meeting, the last minute dropouts. It was a very challenging task to call people and fill up those roles at the last moment. Because many a times people will write in the chat as the SMS or in the WhatsApp, which I didn't have a WhatsApp like a data package. So only after reaching Abu Dhabi, I will come know that so many Toastmasters have dropped out of meeting. And that last moment, I have to hurry up, arrange people for the different roles. So this was one of the most challenging tasks. But one thing I always benefited in NMC Corporate Club was the guidance and mentorship from these different members, especially Toastmaster Manmohan, who is present here, Toastmaster Sunil, Dr. Katrat. These were one of the few members who were so supportive and dedicated that I never felt a difficult task performing my role in any way, whether the president or area director or any officership, because of the team that was there, always present and take up different hats. I remember many a time it will happen just 10, 15 minutes before the meeting when we will all be there near the NMC location. We will get information that some other program is going on and we will have no place to conduct a meeting. And then Dr. Katrat will come handy for us. And he will immediately find some alternative solution and we will be immediately shifting our meeting location. It was so quick, but as a team, we could manage to do it so swiftly that we never felt that something went wrong. Then the second thing what will happen was NMC we always had very good opportunity of a location as so conducting the area contest and division contest. Many of the area people will definitely love to have the NMC corporate location for the area contest or the division contest, and then we as a team will work together to ensure that the total contest will be a success. And people will really appreciate. Dr. Swami is here, one of them, who will always be there for one of our area contests and division contests. And it will go as a very smooth affair. Again, it's all because of the teamwork that we have. Then the next thing will be about the membership. Now, what we need for the member was arranging outside education things. Like, for example, during the contest, we would like to improve the people in the public speaking skill, especially in table topics and evaluation. We will have members getting in feedback from different members, especially suppose for some table topics. We will have the education session on how to conduct table topics. So that way our members will benefit during the contest. And the same thing we will do during the evaluation. We will get educators and role players who will teach how the members to do evaluation. And one of the educated members was Toastmaster Manmohan here, who had conducted a different session for evaluation and how to give a better evaluation. So friends, in Toastmasters, when we have this challenge, being a volunteer organization is very important that many Toastmasters leave Toastmasters just because they feel we are not getting the right value from the Toastmasters, what is promised. But it's not an volunteer thing. What is important is what you give. It's not what you get back from the organization. It's how much you give and that you will get back. That should be the main aim when we join Toastmasters. It's not what you're getting back from the Toastmasters, whether I'm getting to learn to be a better speaker. But what you give to the Toastmasters, that will benefit. That will be your take back. Because always remember in a volunteer organization, it's not that what you get that from the organization, but what you give to the organization will help you grow and become good leaders. Over to Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Robert. Actually, I want to share my experience. Like when I joined Toastmaster, I was a bit complex and to travel. My house is very nearby, but I felt I have to travel a long way. But after seeing Toastmaster Robert coming all the way from Lewis for this Toastmaster session alone, it inspired me a lot. In this note, the third speaker is a legendary Toastmaster. In fact, he can be referred to as Wikipedia of Toastmaster because whatever you want, you can go back and refer to him. And he's been a source of inspiration for all of us. It is Toastmaster Manmohan. And may I request upon Toastmaster Sahana to give the speech objectives of Toastmaster Manmohan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murugesh. This is one evaluation that I'm extremely excited about. So the purpose of this project is for Toastmaster Manmohan to introduce himself to the club once again and maybe not learn, but practice the basic structure of a public speech. All the best, Toastmaster Manmohan. Back to Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you,
Over to
Toastmaster
you,
Sana.
Toastmaster Manmohan.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murugesh. Thank you, Toastmaster Sahana once more. Sahana, it's so good to be seeing you here. I've known you as a little girl, and today you're here evaluating me. It's a feeling which is altogether different. I'm really going to enjoy this. Toastmaster Murugesh, fellow Toastmasters, good afternoon. Age, they say, is a number. And I have a rather nice number. I'm not going to tell you that number right away. Here I am at my home in Cochin, wondering how best I could meet Satish's request to do my icebreaker today. My retired life has hemmed me in by lockdowns and living in a containment zone. But let me share a few thoughts with you. And let me assure you that I'm living my life with perseverity. The first thing that all these years have taught me, which I thought covers up my life, one of the core aspects of my life, and for you to know me, is that life never really teaches most of us how to handle defeat. But I was lucky because over life I've had so many occasions where I won and quite a number, in fact, much more where I've been defeated by life, by different circumstances, by different incidents. But I could get over all of them and move ahead because of my schooling. I studied at a beautiful school, a residential school called Sonic School in Trivandrum. So there, one thing that got inculcated into us among so many other officer-like qualities is that sometimes you got to learn to accept a defeat and move on. And being a sports person is one thing that definitely allows you to learn how to handle defeat. Because in sport, you cannot expect to win each and every time. So that's one important lesson in my life, and that's an important aspect of my life that I'm sharing with you, that there have been lots of defeats, and in whatever time is left for me, there are going to be more defeats, but I'm not going to be put down by those defeats. I'm going to face them and live life to the fullest with perseverity at every moment. The other point about my life, when I look at my entire life, is that life has to be lived with passion. And I believe I have definitely lived with passion. And when I say live your life with passion, it means so many things. And to me, when I talk about passion, it means my values, my interests, my hobbies. And that's something which I would recommend all of you cultivate. You must have plenty of hobbies. For me, it's photography, it's reading, traveling. And you know what? I just, after retirement, I've now picked up gardening as a new hobby. So you put your passion into all these things, into your hobbies, and you really enjoy life as I have been enjoying all through my life. I put my passion into various things of interest. Another important point which I started focusing on very late in my life is the importance of health. First, it should be preventive. You need to take care of diet, exercise, and control your vices. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have any vices whatsoever, then perhaps life may not be worth living. You need to have something, but everything should be under control. One of the deepest regrets in my life was that I used to smoke a lot. And it was only a little over 3 years that I stopped finally. One fine day, I stopped smoking. and that's made a huge difference. Talking about my health, over the years, I accumulated a lot of bad elements into my health. I had all the possible complications. I had a fatty liver, I had diabetes, and all of that. In the last year and a half, I've put complete focus on, on, on retracting all these bad things. And believe it or not, even my doctors are surprised. My BP is normal, my sugar is normal, my fatty liver has disappeared. It's absolutely a normal liver now. How did I do it? It was through exercise, diet control, and let me share with you that I've been doing diet control and exercise for just 2 years now, after a long span of maybe 20 years. But I'm not doing it as a punishment. I'm enjoying every moment of what I'm doing. So that's another point which I'd like to share with you. Next thing in my life is investments and savings. Like a fool, I used to save money, not knowing really how to invest. Today, if there's one thing which I regret, is that I did not learn the art of investment. By making up for it now that I have plenty of time on my hands, I'm focusing now on redoing my investments and making enough money out of it. Now, money should start working for you. Summing up, I love my life with great perseverability and follow my passions. School and sports taught me to learn and handle defeat, to rise and to move on. I now focus on maintaining good health and enjoying doing what I'm doing. And I spend time learning to manage my investment better. And in the process, I've been learning a whole world of economy and finance. Thank you so much, over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Manmohan, for sharing your experiences. It will be very helpful for us going forward. So, Eureka moments. One moment of being thrown away from the train transformed Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi to Mahatma Gandhi, though you might not have enjoyed that moment. So, where this word Eureka started from? To understand, to know the history of it, we have to go back to 3rd century BC. There was a king there in the 3rd century with the name of Saucus. What happened is, one day he got his crown from the goldsmith. After getting in the crown, he went very much suspicious whether some silver was being adulterated and added to this gold crown. So, in order to clarify his doubt, he called his scientist, Archimedes. Archimedes came in there and he told to ask the legitimacy of this crown and check the validity of it. Archimedes don't know what to do. This is something new to him. So he went all the way thinking about how to resolve this issue and how to check this crown. And he went into the bathtub and started bathing. He saw the water coming up. Suddenly something flashed into his mind. So how come I can check this water going up? It will definitely help me to check the gold, because the density of the gold and the purity can be checked by immersing it into water. He got out of the bathtub and started running, shouting, "Eureka, Eureka," which means that I have got it. So from there, this is the first time this word was being uttered, and this is the origination of the word Eureka and the Eureka moment. So it's more to come. We will have the timing report, and going forward, we'll also see how is that these moments can be replicated to us. So may I request Toastmaster Lizzie to give the timing report?
Toastmasters, the timing report for the prepared speeches, Toastmaster Satish, 7 minutes 23 seconds. Toastmaster Robert, 6 minutes 45 seconds. Toastmaster Manmohan, 5 minutes 35 seconds. Over to you, Toastmaster Murgesh. All are qualified for the voting.
So Toastmaster Satish, you want to share this meter before the evaluation starts?
No, Murugesh, let us share the meter at the last after table topics.
Okay. So we'll go to the evaluation session. May I request upon Toastmaster Swaminathan to evaluate the Toastmaster Satish's speech?
Can I give the timing rules?
Yeah, please.
Yes, please.
The timing rules for the evaluation session is we start with 2 minutes green, the amber at 2 minutes 30 seconds, and at 3 minutes the red, after which the evaluator gets 30 seconds to complete his evaluation. Over to you, and a report will be given at the end of the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Mukesh.
May I request upon Toastmaster Swaminathan for the evaluation of the Toastmaster Satish's speech.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters, once again. And good afternoon, Toastmaster Satish. Can we all give a big round of applause? Satish, point number one, which I would like to highlight in your speech is your confidence. You are very much enthusiastic and confident. This itself is very, very important for a speaker. A well-prepared speech might go into the drain if the speaker does not have confidence and courage. For you, the confidence and enthusiasm is very, very backbone of your presentation. Appreciate that. Today's topic for you, the skills what you have used in your presentation is very important. You should be a master in using a visual aid, or today's project is to enhance your visual aid usability. It can be in Toastmasters, it can be in your profession. I appreciate you have selected the best PowerPoint presentation because you are very confident in that. That itself is very good because confidence of a speaker is very important. Now, drilling on to the presentation and the topic which you have presented. I presume the topic is the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Probably what I felt as an audience, you should have highlighted the leadership slides little more, and you should have selected one particular aspects among the 9 leadership quality, and probably you should have linked to yourself, and it would have, I think it would have given us a more insight into your understanding of the book. Nevertheless, on the other hand, when I drill down based on the guidelines given for this project, the language used are very simple. As we always say in Toastmasters, try to use simple language so that the audience does not carry away or their mind should not tinkle for something else. The tone and speed, I think today you are almost on a same pitch. Probably as normal, we people, we are all very speedy. I think you have to slightly reduce your speed of your speech. Eye contact, I'm not going to say much because in an online environment, whatever possible eye contact, you have done it. Gesture, yes, you have done considerably in spite of the constraint presenting through online. And especially I like the time when you said smile. No, you are full of smile. Even it was a little bit embarrassing that much. You are really on a gesture as one. You have managed to give a better gesture with this online environment. Audience, I felt the audience, most of them, they knew this subject, they knew this book, which is an advantage for you. But still, once again, I would link the interest of the audience, wherein the moment you have selected leadership, I would always expect you to focus on the leadership and take one particular point, enhance it. We can know, like personalize it. It would have been more catchy for us. Visual aid, I think you have used it probably, I will not say extremely well, but you have done it considerably where we all know what you're showing. Topic is sacked because this can be used in much more better way. Nevertheless, you have done it well. To sum up, I would say that you have selected the right topic for this visual aid. Probably the visual aid enhancement can be done in a much better way. Otherwise, your confidence You're confident has been through this project. Good luck to you to see the next project. Thank you. Back to TM of the afternoon, TM Murugesh.
Thanks, Toastmaster Swaminathan, for this detailed evaluation. May I request upon Toastmaster Jyoti to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Robert.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Toastmaster of the day and fellow Toastmasters. Okay, so it's my honor to actually evaluate Toastmaster Robert, who is our ex-president and who is perfect speaker. Okay, I'm going to see directly aligning with the objectives. You have already served more than 6 months in your leadership role in the Toastmaster Day. It's really wonderful how you align your objective to the Toastmasters organization, not related to the different organization. The way you have started your journey of the volunteer organization, it was not limited only to the Toastmaster, but it is very insightful to all of us how this journey of a leadership being in Toastmasters. You have very well articulated your challenges, like inspiring the volunteering leadership, passing the torch to the volunteering new members, and retaining the volunteership for the long term. That's a very well with a very actually suitable examples you have put in. And then there is a great leadership you have shown. You have a good communication skills, which shown that you have your journey from 2005 until now, you have stick to this organization. Your part of speech included like how you have not been hesitated to ask for the help from your seniors, how you have gone, and the eureka moment which our Toastmaster of the day have used it is your journey of 3 hours or more than that from the bus one way to coming just for Toastmaster presentation, which is a volunteer work. It's a lesson learned for all of us, majorly for me, who is at home having everything quite handy, still not able to do what you have done. So this is a lesson for learn from me here. So the way you have articulated how you went through the table topics evaluation and you teach, it's a passing the torch. You have given a lesson to us. And now there are a few things I would say. You have picked up the paper and there was a pause for a minute. If you have prepare your speech 1 or 2 times more, there would not have been a pause where you have discussed about volunteer membership. Now, the topic, the way you have ended is what you give it to the Toastmaster. I think it's a point where we all need to learn what we give in any volunteer organization. I would like to see some more examples how it would have benefited the person. If you have added, okay, what I can give to the Toastmaster, what I get it back, you know, when I give volunteer work, it gives me a silence, a peacefulness, a happiness, a different kind of a feeling. But when we give something to the Toastmaster, what benefit I would get, I would like to see that. And it's very well, there was a very well clarity in your speech, well-defined vocal variety. I should not even say that. You have used your gesture very well. Audience have stick to the screen. Reason Toastmaster is the topic, and the comfort level you have shown very well. Congratulations, speech has been delivered in a very well status. Good luck. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Jyoti. May I request upon Toastmaster Sahana to evaluate the Toastmaster, to evaluate the speech of Toastmaster Manmohan?
Thank you, Toastmaster Murugesh. They say that we should be better today than we were yesterday. A very good afternoon, Toastmasters. Toastmaster Manmohan, sir, this speech was a reflection of how you've stood by this thought. When you started in the beginning by telling us about how we learn most by our defeats and how the opportunities that life has beaten you has only taught you to get better, I was curious as to what you were going to share. I saw you seamlessly flow into telling us that all what you have become in your life is because of your schooling. And that's where I realized that every sentence that you said had purpose to your message or where the speech was going. Your speech and the body of your content, the body of your speech did 2 things for us. One, help us get to know you better, and at the same time, give us a message that is inspire us or realize how we could do things better. In terms of content, sir, I have one suggestion, which is in the opening, I felt you had two openings of sorts. One where you said about how age is just what it is for you. And then you went on to tell us about how the defeats have shaped who you are. But towards the end, probably because when the green light flashed on is when you realized that you needed to get to the conclusion. I felt the conclusion was a little abrupt. So what you could have done is probably pulled the first one about age towards the end, because both would have worked well there. Moving on to the delivery, experience showed in every bit of the delivery of your speech. You were constantly at ease, though this was something that was to a certain extent sprung upon to you at the last moment. And an example that I could give is how your voice showed passion whenever you said perfervidly. And every time you wanted to send a message, it got a little more serious. Coming to delivery, another suggestion I could give is something very tiny, but I think could make your speech all the more better, is keeping the camera a little farther. That's something which I find hard to do because then I lose connect with the audience. But I noticed that you had great gestures that you were doing as you spoke, but we couldn't see all of them because the camera didn't cover all of them. On the whole, like every other speech, this was a great one. Learned lots from it and will definitely try putting them into my life. Thank you so much. Back to Toastmaster of the Day.
Thanks, Toastmaster Sahana, for this evaluation. Yes, Toastmaster Manmohan, you want to say something?
Oh, no, nothing at all. I just want to thank Sama for a beautiful evaluation. I really loved the evaluation. She was to the point, and I think she had it all. She did a wonderful job. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, bringing some fresh perspectives. So going back to our discussion on, okay, before that, may I request upon the timer's report, please?
Toastmaster of the day, the timer's report for evaluation speech, Toastmaster Swaminathan, 3 minutes, 30 seconds. Toastmaster Jyoti, 3 minutes. Toastmaster Sahana, 2 minutes, 50 seconds. So we all are qualified for the voting. Over to you, Toastmaster Murugesh.
Continuing our discussions on this Eureka moments, though these moments are unpredictable and unreplicable, there are ways by which you can create your own aha moments and bring out those ideas that have been hiding in some places. Firstly, whenever you have a problem, always try to set aside the problem and try to think of something else. Easier said than done. But what happens is when you sit aside the problem, when you stop thinking about it, this period is called incubant period, during which your mind has been given a space to think about some fresh perspectives, which helps us to give some solutions to our pre-existing problems. Second thing is, whenever, as I said, when we keep ourselves away from these issues, there are also possibilities of giving some solutions from the environment itself, like the bathtub, which helps Archimedes to identify a solution. Similarly, there is a possibility of you getting solutions from whatever is around. Third one, though not scientifically proven, the thing is, often put all these problems, ask these questions to your subconscious mind. And this always works out even when you're sleeping. So at some point of time, you'll get a solution from your mind itself. Though it is not scientifically proven, I am very much a fan of this idea because I've tried it a couple of times and it has worked out for me. So this is what all about the Eureka moments. So getting into the exciting part of our Toastmaster session, may I request upon the Toastmaster Rupesh, a seasoned Toastmaster, to take over to the table topic session.
Thank you, Toastmaster Murugesh.
You can invite the timer to give the timing rules, Toastmaster.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster and guests. Now the next session will be the table topic session. It will be a very exciting session, and there will be impromptu speaking by the speakers. I have brought certain topics, and on random basis, we will call the speakers. And we will prefer the speakers who is not who is not in the main role as a speaker in the current ongoing session. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah. And before we start the session, I would like to call upon the timer, Toastmaster Liji, to tell about the timing rule, please.
Good evening once again, Toastmasters. The timing rules for table topics is 1 minute, the green, 1 minute, 30 seconds, the amber, and at 2 minutes, the red. And after that, you get 30 seconds to wrap up your table topics. I'll give the report at the end of the session. Over to you, Toastmaster Rupesh.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Liji. So I would like to call the first speaker. So Toastmaster Shiva.
Yes, I'm okay.
Toastmaster Shiva, the topic is it more important to do what you love or to love what you are doing? Toastmaster Shiva, is it more important to do what you love or to love what you are doing? Toastmaster Shiva.
Good afternoon, Toastmaster of the day, table topic master and guest. Is it important to do what you love or love what you do? It is quite of a tricky type of topic which you have shared. So thanks for it. So I'll give it a try. What to do what you love or love what you do? Though it looks like the same, but if you need passion into anything you do, you need to love what you do, irrespective of whatever it is given to you. What you love can be choosy. You love certain specific things, so you do it in a better way or you put more of an efforts to it. However, when you love everything what you do, you just worry about you just focus on the process, not on the results. If you put all your passion into that and look into the process, results eventually will come. So what is that? On the other way, you could communicate or you could mention that it is how you put your passion into it. Passion is nothing but essentially your involvement into what you do. So whenever you choose anything to do, be it your personal life, your professional life, or anything even to the society, if you wanted to do into it, put your whole heart into it, love and do it, the results will be phenomenal. So I would choose to love what you do in a very passionate way. Thank you and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shiva. And we would like to call the next speaker. So any volunteer? Or I will call Toastmaster Swaminathan. Toastmaster Swaminathan, are you ready?
Yeah.
Topic is, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Toastmaster Swaminathan, if you had the opportunity to get a message across to a large group of people, what would your message be? Toastmaster Swaminathan.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters once again. To a larger audience, especially to Indian subcontinent people, I will just say, stay home, stay safe. Stay home, stay safe. This is the word or mantra I would say now, because we need to protect ourselves, we need to protect our family, we need to protect our society, we need to protect our country, whatsoever. Individual or we have to discipline ourselves. At this point of time, the first discipline is stay at home, stay safe. Make everyone to feel the safety if you are following certain protocol. Please follow government specified protocol, because we need to save our nation. We need to save this world. We need to save humanity. At this point of time, whatsoever, I will say, stay back in your home, be safe, give everyone and make everyone to live in a safe environment. This is the need of the hours. This is what I will convey to any group. It can be one person, two persons, or it can be millions of audience through online. Back to table topic, Master.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Swaminathan. So we will go to the next speaker.
Srinath raised hand, Rupesh. Just check him.
Toastmaster Srinath.
Yes, Rupesh.
Your topic. Kids have funny beliefs about how the world works. How did you see the world when you were a child? Toastmaster, I'm repeating again. Kids have funny beliefs about how the world works. How did you see the world when you were a child?
Good afternoon, Toastmasters. First of all, I am not turning on my camera because of a personal reason. So excuse me for that one, okay, for the meeting. So actually, there was a tricky topic for the day, and how you will see the world as you have wishing during your childhood days, and it's sorry, Toastmasters, I'm just leaving. Okay.
Okay, no problem. I will repeat another.
Can
topic.
you give me another topic, please?
Another topic, huh?
Okay.
To change yourself, you need to take a risk. What's your opinion? I'm repeating. To change yourself, you need to take a risk. What's your opinion?
Yes, good afternoon, Toastmasters. Of course, for all the personalities, there is always a problem with everyone, that is resistance to change. So everybody wants to be in their comfort zone all the time. That's the basic habit with everyone. But if you want to make a change, you should go away from get rid of that resistance to change, because change is unavoidable. So you have to improve yourself, you have to upgrade yourself from your previous version. So all the time, even the change will not be easy for everyone. If you want to make a change, that should be rigorous and drastic, and for making a change, you always have to take the risk. And of course, this is the time for taking risk. And if you now you will be in a position whether maybe you can take a risk to make a change, but later on maybe you will not be in a position whether you will be able to take a risk to change yourself. So always be courageous to make changes and upgrade yourself. Okay, thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Srinath. Next table topic master, any volunteer?
I would like to take a go. Jyoti.
Jyoti. Hi, Jyoti. Toastmaster Jyoti, your topic is, how will today matter in 5 years from now? Toastmaster Jyoti, how will today matter in 5 years from now?
Thank you, topic master, giving me opportunity to speak on this topic. How will today matter? It's actually aligning to the business needs. We generally see ourselves how we'll be after 5 years or 10 years. I think everybody's journey is different. If I talk about where I will be, I think I'm making a moment of memories, spending time with my kid, doing my work, what I want to, doing my certification. I'm quite focused. I don't know whether after 5 years, I'll be able to see the earth or not, looking at the current pandemic. But if I talk about overall the current situation we are living in now, it's a very, very different and difficult situation which people are facing across the world. I would believe that this pandemic would end. People will be more happier and respecting each other. Medical services would be a topmost priority for every country. I hope those changes after 5 years would be made at a priority. So that's all from my side. Thank you, Toastmaster of the Day. Over to you.
Great, Toastmaster Jyoti.
Thanks, Toastmaster. That's what it is.
Yeah, Toastmaster Murugesh, we can continue, or?
No, that's fine, Toastmaster.
Okay.
Yeah, we are running out of time probably. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Toastmasters. Then we would like to call the timers. Kindly give the timers report, please. Toastmaster Liji.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupesh. For table topics, we had Toastmaster Shiva, who took 1 minute 58 seconds. Toastmaster Srinath took 1 minute 15 seconds. Toastmaster Swaminathan took 1 minute 10 seconds. And Toastmaster Jyoti 55 seconds. So with that, we have 3 qualified: Shiva, Srinath, and Swaminathan. Over to you, Toastmaster Rupesh.
Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Liji. Now I will hand over to Toastmaster of the Day, to Toastmaster Murugesh.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rupesh, for this lively session. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Toastmaster Roshan, a general evaluator, to take it over from this point, please. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. Satish, do I have to call the reporters first?
Yeah, you can call all the reporters one by one. Then you can give your own feedback.
Right. So for the timer role, Lizzie, I think everyone has qualified. I mean, you have given for
yes,
Toastmaster table topics.
Yeah, okay. I also did the word of the day. Can I give the count for the word of the day?
Yeah, please.
Okay. It was perfect to see that our most eminent Toastmaster Manmohan used the word almost 4 times during his speech. And then we had his evaluator also using the word, I think, and Jyoti used it, I think, 1 time. So I would request more members to make use of the word. Over to you, Toastmaster Roshan.
You're muted. Toastmaster Roshan, you're muted.
So we started the meeting at 2 o'clock, 4 minutes. So we were 4 minutes behind. So though we had about 6 to 7 participants, we could have started. So I think as a leader, probably it will be good to start the meeting on time, because as we lead, that could be a good example for the rest of the meetings. So we were prepared, like we had president and some of the role players. So if we had started and then by the time which the prepared speeches or the evaluators, they could have joined and we could have be on time. So in Toastmasters, what we look at it more of a perfection. So I felt that should be highlighted. And then after that, TM Satish did 2 roles of, started with Sergeant at Arms, and he spoke about the ground rules that was missing earlier. So now it's been highlighted. And I think that was very much required. During the meeting, yes, we observed there were some noises. I think we should try to avoid that, because that can be a disturbance and it could be a bit of off track. So even if somebody is not able to make the speech, it is good to always ask for excuse and move out. So what I've observed that even if we have to take a defeat, that doesn't mean that we are losers. So always we can come back and we can always give our speeches, right? So that's what I felt. Coming to President's speech, TM Satish did a fantastic role. The Eureka movement was a very good message, and then he explained it well. Congratulations. After that, we have TM Murugesh, Toastmaster of the evening. He did a fantastic job. He started well. In the beginning, yes, he missed out to call out the role players. We always know that it's a pleasure to have you on stage, but sometimes I think this counts as well. And then you picked up very well. The following one, you called up the role players and they were supporting well. So that was a good sign. You picked up very well with that. TM Lizzie, she finished, she did a good timer's role in terms of timely explaining and giving all the details of it. Thought Master TM Sailesh, he did a good role as well. He explained about optimism, realism, and I felt that was more relevant to Eureka movement. So that was a good contribution from him. In terms of prepared speeches, so we had 3 senior Toastmasters coming and giving speeches. So that was really a pleasure for us to see them come and give their speeches. Starting with TM Satish, I think he did a very good role, and we thoroughly enjoyed. Of course, in details, evaluators have gone through it. I won't get into details. So it's a well done. Then we had TM Robert, who always gives a good speech, and we really liked his speech. Right? And then, yes, in terms of your speeches, already the evaluation is done. However, we liked your speech, and thank you. Then we had TM Manmohan. Manmohan gave an impromptu speech. So though he was not prepared, but then it was really heartening to listen to his speech. He gave about his personal stories, and we always look forward for his speech as a role model. So though in the beginning he said he would give the speech, so we were very much delighted to have a speech. And then moving to evaluators. First evaluator, TM Swaminathan. So I think the feedback was good in terms of getting the details, how Satish started his speech, and what he should have explained it more in details. I felt there was a bit of drag in terms of giving the suggestions. Maybe that could have avoided. We always could start with positive, negative, and positive probably, and then make a good ending there. TM Jyoti, next evaluator, she got into details of what TM Robert explained about it, and she highlighted about communication skills and how we ask for help and how we progress from there. So, and also she had made a comment about, would have been more beneficial if it was there in terms of giving some benefit, in terms of what are the advantages. I think that was well highlighted, and that was a good evaluation. And our next evaluator, TM Sahana. So TM Sahana, she highlighted some of the points where how TM Manmohan was giving the personal stories and how it was interesting to know. Yeah, in terms of some highlights she has done, like abruptly concluding. So those are things which I felt in an impromptu speech to give well-constructed speech, it would definitely need a little bit of input. So giving an impromptu speech was more prompt, and it was good, I believe. So whenever we look at situations, and then we look at what is the best, what we are getting. So I think that was good from Sahana's point of view, TM Sahana's point of view. And also, like we, since we do a more formalized Toastmasters meeting, so in between, if there are small corrections, like Satish came out with the word explaining again about anecdote or anecdote. So you don't have to abrupt a meeting. You can, always maybe a message, or maybe it is understood that sometimes we make mistakes. See, always we keep it as a learning. So we don't have to make it more obvious and more evident. So those things was there. I think overall, it was more very well-organized meeting, and we thoroughly enjoyed. And congratulations to all the speakers, evaluators, all participants. I really liked and I really appreciate all of you. Thank you so much. Over to TM Murugesh.
Toastmaster Roshan, we'll hand it over to the president right now for further proceedings.
Thank you. So team members, I'm launching the polling. Please vote for the best speaker, evaluator, and table topic speaker. Can you please vote? I think everyone voted, right? Great, I think good. We got all the votes. Thank you all. It was a really great meeting. Before I would like to share the results, I just would like to get a feedback from our guest and also role player, Toastmaster Sahana. Can you please unmute yourself and share your feedback?
I thoroughly enjoyed today's meeting. I think I got to hear some of the very renowned speakers in action, and I thoroughly enjoyed it today. Thank you for having me over. Thank you, Toastmaster Robert, for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Sahana. Thanks for, first of all, thanks for taking the role also in our club today. That's really a great honor for us. Now the results, best table topic award goes to Toastmaster Shiva. Big round of applause. And best evaluation goes to evaluator award goes to our guest, Toastmaster Sahana. Congratulations, Sahana and Shiva. And the best speaker award goes to our DTM Robert. A big round of applause for DTM Robert. Thank you all. I will share the certificates separately to your email IDs. Thank you all. We had a great meeting. Shailesh, for you, since we have a first meeting for you, I have a separate intro kind of, okay, we have a intro kind of meeting. We have it, okay, I will give you a separate session to you. What benefits you will get it. Because of the time constraint, I didn't put it in before the bigger audience. We will have one-to-one meeting. And since Swaminathan is already a senior Toastmasters, maybe I think Swaminathan, I think we didn't get chance to introduce about you and Shailesh in the meeting. Just before end of meeting, can you please, Shailesh, can you start with you? Can you please introduce about yourself? Because it's the first meeting for you.
Good evening. I'm basically an instrumentation engineer with an MBA and PhD in oil and gas. I'm working as sales manager, oil and gas in a company called Harris Alafak in Abu Dhabi. I'm from Kerala, a place called Mannarkad in Palakkad district. For the past 15 years, I'm working in Abu Dhabi.
Welcome, Toastmaster Cyrus. Welcome to the NMC corporate family. I'm sure we will make the right decision to improve our skills.
Yeah.
Toastmaster Swami, could you please? I'm sure most of us knows you, but still, new members, this will be a great pleasure to know.
I'm just 1 day old in NMC as a member, but I know NMC almost the time I landed in Abu Dhabi, because I was carrying Toastmaster tag along with me when I came to UAE from Saudi Arabia. Actually, I joined Toastmasters in the year 2000. On the time I knew Toastmaster, I joined it. I always like to be a part of NMC. As Robert says, it's like my own ground. Okay, I just love to be there. But unfortunately, currently we are just meeting only online. I'm sure in a couple of weeks' time, things will change and we will all meet at the basement and we'll have good kadak chai and samosa. I'm sure I do expect the same. Thank you all.
We are looking forward. Thanks, Swami. Reminding us correct chai and samosa, all of us. We are missing everyone. Thank you. Manmohan, would you like to say something? Since thanks for joining from India. It's really great privilege, all of us, giving your continuous inputs and feedback to our club. Just share your inputs before wrap up. You are muted, Manmohan.
Okay, there we go. Thank you, Satish, for this opportunity. It's I think you have forgotten, Satish, that I'm not really doing you a particular favor because I still happen to be a paid member of NMC, even though I've moved out of UAE and I'm in Cochin. And I think more than 10 years I've been with the club, and I really would like to continue as much as possible. So it's good to be with the club. And I'm really happy to see that the club is doing so well. One of the things that I was thinking of today, listening to all these speeches and the way things were being conducted, one was about the improvement I've seen in many of you. For example, in your own case, Satish and Murugesh, for example, I mean, two names I've just picked out, where I really felt that there's been such a good improvement from the time I've known you from the time you people joined Toastmasters, and I've seen you grow. So that's something very satisfying to see the growth. And for those who have just joined in, let me tell you that I've really seen wonders happen with many Toastmasters who couldn't speak a word. They are very proficient speakers and they're getting better day by day. It's a great platform to be on. It's up to you how you use the platform. It's not an institution. It's not something where they give you certificates and the course is over, you're done. No, it's up to you. It's a lifetime thing. So my advice to all those newer, younger Toastmasters is to be at it. Is really going to be very, very beneficial. And on a slightly more personal note, Sahna happens to be my colleague's daughter, someone whom I've known since she was a kid. I've seen her perform in Gavel Club, where she's won plenty of prizes. And it was really a very happy moment to realize Sahna is going to be in this meeting and that she is going to evaluate me. So I was actually quite embarrassed that I didn't come prepared and I didn't have a proper speech to present before Sahna. So thank you, Sana. Your evaluation was spot on. I really loved it. So overall, I think it's a great meeting. I'm really enjoying being with you. I have nothing else to do at the moment until COVID is settled and I find something else to do. I'm going to be free and I'll be happy to join you whenever chance permits. And Satish, thank you for prodding me and pushing me to do something. So I finally started. Actually, I started for the third time on the second meeting. Laziness has always got the better of me. Two times before I did icebreakers in different clubs in similar circumstances, and this is the third time. But this time, I think I'll carry on and go ahead with the chosen path. Thank you for allowing me time to speak once again. Thank you for accepting me, taking me along with you. Thank you so much for a wonderful afternoon. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Manmohan. Manmohan, I just would like to add one point. Maybe since you have now a lot of passion, and we all know that you're kind of dictionary for so many things. There is, I'm sure you must have heard about the podcast from the Google, Apple, because you are very well known about so many topics. It would be great support for anybody's entrepreneurs or any other field. It will be great help. Maybe you can start a kind of podcast. I'm sure it will be great, like, because 2 to 3 minutes you can speak on any topic. This can immediately catch it because the attention span for nowadays for audience is hardly 2 to 3 minutes. These podcasts are really so popular because of lockdowns and everything. So please look on that one. It will be great help on any specific topics, mainly on the communication and leadership skills.
Thank you so much, Satish, for suggesting that. I feel very flattered, very motivated, very inspired. I'll seriously think of doing something of this kind. Thank you so much, Satish.
That's great. Thank you, everyone. We had a great meeting.
Toastmaster Sana, thank you very much for accepting the role at such a short notice. Just few hours before the meeting, I just called her and she readily accepted the role of an evaluator. Thank you very much on behalf of NMC Corporate Club. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Robert. Like I mentioned before, it's always a pleasure being with all of you. Thank you so much. And Toastmaster Manmohan, you can just tell me when you have a next speech and I'll come to watch.
Thank you, Sana.
Thank
And similarly, maybe Sana, maybe you can invite some of us as a observer to your own club in Surathkal. It would be nice if you will invite us. If you're free, some of us can join just and we'll be observers there.
Sure, let me get a meeting that's perfect enough and I'll invite all of you.
Great team. On this note, I'm going to end meeting number 461. Thank you all. Sayonara. We will meet in the next meeting.